And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm a couple minutes late. There's a lot going on around here today. Oh my goodness. Welcome to AIWF Ringside Wrestling. My name is Mad Matt Carter. Good to have you along, folks. Let's pop my video up there. Hello. Good to have you with us. It's Thursday night. We're live from Concord, North Carolina, from the PWD studios. And we're here with another edition of AIWF Ringside Wrestling. So I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining us, whether you're here with us in the Zoom meeting or on YouTube. Smiling Diamond Dave, just talked to him, is scheduled to join us tonight. So I hope he comes along. But hey, what do we do here at this show? We do the announcements. So let's sell some wrestling tickets. All right. And let's go. Shockwave Wrestling. Oh boy, our friends down in New Bern have got a big event coming up this weekend. They call it Battleversary. It takes place at the Craven County JC Fairgrounds right there on Highway 70 East in New Bern. Tickets are at paypal.me/shockwave. Yeah, look at that. At the bottom of your screen there. Shockwave WBE tickets. Guess Shockwave was already taken, but that card is going to feature the former AIWF World Tag Team Champions, the Real Life Freaks, taking on the current East Coast Tag Team Champions, a belt that the Real Life titles that the Real Life Freaks never lost, because I was there the night they won the World Tag Team title last summer. They had to vacate those titles to continue wrestling in that tournament, and were able to pull off the win. So the Brothers in Arms are going to be defending the titles against the Real Life Freaks. A couple of very dangerous tag teams in that match, and certainly looking forward to that coming up this Saturday night, July 17th. And can't put over Shockwave Wrestling enough and the great things that they do. And as you can see, there at the top left, they are on Fight. So all you have to do is look them up on your Fight app. And there's the big poster for the Battleversary with all the stars in action. Going to be some ladies in action as well. It looks like presented by, this is being put on by Ground Zero Hip Hop and Wrestling Podcast. So that's not exactly bacon and eggs, but they do kind of go together. So, but anyway, check out that podcast. You can search for it anywhere you find your podcasts. Again, it's Saturday night, July 17th. And talk about affordable family fun. Look at this. Pre-sale tickets, adults $8, kids only $5. Tickets at the door, $10 for adults, kids still only $7. And Feel the Shock VIP experience right there. Big VIP experience, $20, only $20. What great value. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7. And if you needed an excuse to go to New Bern other than New Bern's freaking awesome, you can head down there and see Shockwave Wrestling. Of course, let's read off all their sponsors since they were kind enough to do that. Digital Savvy, Digital Consulting, the Craven County JCs, Wicked Clown Society, Sinister Inc., Atlantic Auto Parts and Salvage, B&B Outdoor Power, Ground Zero Hip Hop and Wrestling Broadcast. So thanks to all the sponsors for helping put on Battleversary coming up this Saturday night. They had some other match announcements going on out there, but I saw them. They popped up on my feed, but I couldn't find them last night when I put the slideshow together, so I apologize for that. If you guys would post those in the AIWF boardroom or AIWF network, or just post these still shots on your main Facebook page, it'd be easier for me to grab. I can't really do much with the videos. But anyway, just throwing it out there for anybody at Shockwave's listening. I'll be glad to put your match announcements, all of them that I can get fairly easily on here. Glad to do that for you. And of course, special live performance going on at the show by the Queen of Hip Hop, Mecca Forever. So music and wrestling this Saturday night in New Bern. You don't want to miss it. Again, the Queen of Hip Hop, Mecca Forever, going to be there. She is the co-host of the Ground Zero Hip Hop and Wrestling Podcast, CEO of Chronicles Magazine and Radio Show, and she's an iconic underground legend. So definitely don't want to miss that. Great things going on down at Shockwave. Guys, I could not resist. This is one of the most unique wrestling posters I have ever seen. Is Future Great Wrestling and the Animal Adoption Foundation presents Clotheslines, Canines, and Felines, sponsored by Arches Saloon and Main Street Vinyl. This is taking place Friday night, tomorrow night, July 16th at the FGW Arena up on 190 North Brookwood Avenue in Hamilton, Ohio. Front row is $12, general admission $10, and it's going to a great cause. So let me assure you, you look at the poster here, the dogs and cats are not going to be wrestling. There's going to be people wrestling. But this is actually to benefit the Animal Adoption Foundation. So you're up in the neighborhood of Hamilton, Ohio. Just got back from Ohio last week. Great tickets are available, and you can get them at Future Great Comics or reach out to them via their Facebook page. That's FGW, Future Great Wrestling, Clotheslines, Canines, and Felines, coming up Friday night in Hamilton, Ohio. Ran across this advertisement on one of our affiliate pages and thought it'd be a good thing to mention. This is at the Power Slam Academy, 2-day mini camp with Dr. Tom Pritchard, August 7th and 8th. It's $75 per participant. And this is for trained wrestlers. Now, I don't have a location or anything like that, but if you're serious and want to inquire about getting trained by one of the best trainers in the business, one of the greatest wrestlers that ever laced up a pair of boots, Dr. Tom Pritchard, you email them at powerslamacademy@gmail.com for more info and to sign up. And again, $75 to train with a legend like Dr. Tom is not much to ask, I don't think, at all. You know, good value there. He could really shore up your game. So we moved to my home base, AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Well, thank you. See it, folks. This Saturday night, Mount Airy, it's the semis and the finals of the Dangerous Don Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament coming up. Studio lights came on. As you can see, the Pink Gang goes square off against Diamond Intensity. That's Josh Strong and Nate Diamond. And the Bad Men will take on Pro Wrestling's DNA. Boy, that is a long, bitter rivalry going on between those two teams. And, of course, the winners will meet. Pink Gang, Pretty Boy Lane, Kent Wolf, vowed to defend their tag team title all the way through the tournament, and that will continue this Saturday night. They're going to have to defend it twice. So let's be honest. What would happen if Josh Strong and Nate Diamond beat the Pink Gang and won the AIWF Mid-Atlantic Tag Team titles and then went into the finals? Would they defend? Or would they say, no, we're good. We're not putting them on the line again right away? Diamond Intensity does not cross me as the type of team that would back down from that challenge. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see if the Pink Gang can make it all the way to the end this Saturday night with 2 title defenses possibly coming up. And there you see, that's the main poster for AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling this Saturday night in Mount Airy at Veterans Park. There's the address, 691 West Lebanon Street, Mount Airy, North Carolina. Tickets very affordable, $8 for the floor, $6 for the bleachers. Bell time is at 7:30. That's what time bell time's scheduled for most of the time. We know, you longtime fans with AIWF Mid-Atlantic know that it'll probably be about 7:35, 7:40. But we'll definitely get going. Get going around 7:30. Matches, individual matches for this show. Looking very interesting. The Battle of the Big Men, they're calling it. Ironhead Matt Anderson takes on TDT. That's coming up this Saturday night in Mount Airy. That's going to be a great matchup. Certainly some hard hitting there. Check this out. Jamal the Titan against the returning Gorilla Q. I cannot wait to see that. Gorilla Q, probably one of the most popular wrestlers in AIWF Mid-Atlantic history. I'll be squaring off against Jamal the Titan, and I do believe that is for the TV title. It does not list it here, but I believe it is for the television championship. So Jamal the Titan and Gorilla Q. Jamal the Titan, last time I saw him wrestle in person, survived that match where they had to drink all the beer, the barroom brawl. Oh my goodness. What a mess that was, literally and figuratively. They spilt beer and liquor all over the floor. Wow, what a match. That's all I'll say. Check out this craziness right here. In the main event, if you could call it that, I mean, it's for the Mid-Atlantic title. And of course, the Carson tournament's going to be first and foremost on everybody's mind. But look at this. Ty Tyson puts the AIWF Mid-Atlantic Championship on the line against Benny Conley, Mickey Fulp, and Daniel Halen. So I'm unclear, and we'll find out the rules and announce them that night, if this is going to be one of those elimination deals or if the first person to gain a pinfall or submission will win. But generally in these three-way or four-way matches, there are no disqualifications. So if we saw anything a couple of shows ago, that 8-man brawl that had Mickey Fulton, the Bad Men, and Kevin Stryker involved, and Jody Osborne, it's going to be a wild one. So if you're sitting ringside, if you've got a drink or some food, I wouldn't sit it down on the floor when these guys are out there, because they're liable to come step in it, because they're going to be fighting all over the arena. So there it is again, the big poster. A reminder that this Saturday night, the Dangerous Don Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament, the Final Four, comes your way as we crown the 2021 post-pandemic champions on that night. And joining me at this time, looks like Smiling Diamond Dave is trying to get on. And so let's see if I can unmute him. Nah, he's unmuted. I can hear you talking now, Dave. Go ahead. Dave, welcome to the show. We just finished running through the card this Saturday night coming up in Mount Airy, talking about the Dangerous Don Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament. You can see the remaining teams, Diamond Exchange, Nate Diamond and Josh Strong against the Pink Gang, and then Pro Wrestling DNA against the Bad Men. And the Pink Gang have said that they're going to defend the tag team title every match they wrestle in the tournament. So possibly 2 matches coming up for them, 2 title defenses this Saturday night, if they can get past Diamond Intensity.
Well, Matt, I agree with you. They've put the titles up every match during the tournament that they've wrestled. I believe this is going to be one of their tougher matches against Nate and Josh. They might have their hands full on this one, but I'm really looking forward to the Bad Men and DNA.
Oh yeah, that's a very bitter rivalry that's been going on for quite some time now.
And I believe that match is just going to be unchained because all them guys, they know what they're going for, and they're going to give everything, and they're going to beat each other like there's no tomorrow to try to win that tournament.
So, Dave, you were tag team partners with Don. I know Don is looking down and probably kind of embarrassed that we're doing this tournament, but I'm sure he appreciates it, because, Don inside the ring was a very vicious competitor, but outside the ring, he was a pretty humble guy, and certainly didn't crave attention. But when he put on those tights, he was a different guy. But talk to us about the history of this tournament and how many years it goes back. It's pretty recent. Is this the second or third one, I think?
I think that this is the third one, Matt, that we've had, the Don Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament. Like you said, when Don put on the purple and black and we stepped through the ring ropes, he was all business. He was one of the most vicious, brutal guys you'd ever want to be in the ring with, because in Georgia, when we was down there, I was across the ring from him a couple times, and we just beat excuse my French, but the dog crap out of each other. I know what Don could dish out, but outside the ring, he had one of the biggest hearts uh, to me, of anybody that I know.
Yeah.
Don would do anything for anybody. He was all about helping the young guys in this business. He'd give them advice, what not to do, what to do, what not to say, what to say, when the time was right to say it. You know, give them all kinds of pointers. And like I said, he was very, very humble. He was a great man. I mean, we was together for 28 years, and you know, the times we've had, uh, nobody can take them memories away. He was a big jokester. He loved to joke.
Yeah, that he did.
And loved to cut up and carry on. But I believe that Don's looking down, and I believe that Don, I don't believe he'd be embarrassed knowing him the way I do. Uh, I believe he'd be very proud of the caliber of talent that has reached the finals.
Yeah.
And I can just picture it now, us sitting behind in the dressing room watching the monitor or standing behind the curtain watching for ourselves. He'd reach over and poke me. He'd say, hey, now you watch this guy right here. He's gonna, but he wouldn't call him guy. He'd be using that slang language. You know, I can't say that on there, but
No, please don't.
you know, so
There's enough people on the internet, and I mean old timers and young people that just expose this business and have plumb here. Let me talk Southern to the people watching out there in North Carolina, Virginia. Then plumb learned it.
Yep.
And I think some of the old timers are just as guilty as some of the young guys. But one of the things that I'm so proud of that AIWF Mid-Atlantic does, say what you want about wrestling, but when you come see a show here, it's not a bunch of clowns doing acrobatic tricks like you think they need a set of trapeze or something. You fans pay to see a fight. You come to see AIWF Mid-Atlantic, you're going to see some fights.
That's right.
It's presented. It's a sports-based presentation. I won't go so far as to say we're as solid as like Mid-South. Because Watts was pretty damn serious.
Oh yeah.
But we try to keep wrestling, the way that some of you folks our age, or mine and Dave's age, or even maybe 10 years younger, what you grew up with, what made you fall in love with the sport of wrestling. We try to keep it that way. So know that when you come see us, yeah, you might see some ha-ha moments, but it's not like some of the things you see some of the national promotions these days.
No, and Matt, if Don was here and he was talking instead of me, Don would tell you I was very, in most of our 28 years, probably 20 of it anyway, I was very critical of the young guys trying to break in, the young guys trying to learn the business, and I still say to this day, you've got to earn my respect. I call a lot of people brother, but if I call you Bud, I say, what's up, Bud, or what's going on, dude? That means you ain't earned my respect.
Yeah.
And
you just let the horse. You just let the horse out of the barn. Next time you call somebody Bud, they're gonna get their feelings hurt.
Yeah. Well, and Don, we've had these talks running up and down the road. In the latter years when Don was sick, I'd go down and sit with him. We'd talk, and he'd tell me, I hate to bring this up, but he sat and told me what he wanted me to say at his funeral. And that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my 55 years of living. And
yeah, but I'm going to tell you what, I was there, and that was one of the nicest send-offs I think you could have done for anybody. I mean, it was sad, but yeah, it was like they say funeral homes love to use this expression, celebration of life. And I think it's so cliche. and so corny. But that one really was nice. I mean, with the Masons showing up, and then we got to do that long procession up into the mountains, and it was cool. It was cool that day. You know, it was really good and really well thought. And I know Don planned that out. You know.
Oh yeah,
And
Don.
it was such a good. I hate to say this. It was sad because it's a funeral, but man, you know, it was a good day. It really was. It was really, really nice.
You know, Don said and told me everything that he wanted from. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Let's just be honest. And he looked at me. He said, Dave. He said, if you let them, anybody, put a suit and tie on me and put me in that casket, he said, I will haunt you to your dying days. He said, that is not me. He said, anybody that knows me knows I'm my raggedy tennis shoes, I'm my old raggedy shorts and an old raggedy t-shirt with my remote control in my hand.
Yeah.
And he said, that better be the way I am presented. And, you know, that was hard for me to try to step in and tell the family what he wanted. But that's what he wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And I had to tell him, you know, some people got, well, why what? You know, he should have had a pair of khaki pants and a dress shirt. I said, nope, don't do it. I said, because he made it clear he don't want that. It better be his old raggedy shirt and his old raggedy shorts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, Don touched so many people over the years, from way back. I remember the first time we stepped foot in AIWF North Wilkesboro at the Armory. We just showed up and talked to Rick Diesel and stuff. And he said, you got your stuff, which we didn't live like 15 minutes away in Miller's Creek, you know. So we went home and got it. And we've been a permanent fixture ever since. You know, I've seen shows where you had 5 paying people and
so
you know, but it's escalated into what it is today, the Don Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament, deal with the steel, Fright Night, you know, it's seasons, beatings. It's escalated into what it is that from 5 paying people to the crowds that we got now.
Yeah, and I want to dig some more into that. We're going to talk some more about Don in just a minute, but let me run through the rest of these announcements, Steve, and then we'll come back to this. Real quick, just to let you know, although we got wrestling coming up this Saturday night, I want to show you this information we got coming up for Deal with Steel, which is the AIWF's biggest show of the year, bar none, without question. Started in 1997 in Stewart, Virginia. And we're actually doing price points this year for different packages. And I'll take my time here so you can overlook these things. But, you know, a lot of times at these wrestling conventions, Dave, you know it, and these big festivals that they have for wrestling. And sometimes, man, it really feels like they're just trying to gouge you plumb to death.
Oh, Lord.
With the different packages or whatever. I challenge any other independent in the country to come up with this kind of value right here. Now take a look at the ticket packages here. The gold package, which is $20 per person, guarantees you a floor seat for the main show at 7:30. You get to come to the Hall of Fame at noon on Saturday, and we're going to feed you. That comes with a meal. You get access to the Fan Fest that goes on from 3 to 6 p.m. and access to the AIWF kickball game. And if you want to play against the wrestlers, we're going to mix the wrestlers and the fans together and make 2 teams. So you have the opportunity to play in that game if you want to. If you just want to watch and make fun of people, you know, and call Daniel Halen the Keebler Elf, you know, while he's running around. And I know that's going to happen. That's no disrespect to Daniel. He was my first guest on this show. But I just mention it because I know that's going to happen. But look, we've also got the silver package, which is $15. General admission seat at the big Deal with Steel show, which is up in the bleachers there at the grandstand at Veterans Park. You guys that have been there know it. All right. You also get access to the Hall of Fame with the meal at noon and access to Fan Fest, and you get a chance to play in a kickball game. So the only difference between those two price points is whether you want to sit ringside on the floor or in the bleachers or not. Okay. Pretty cut and dry. The tickets for the event itself that night will be $10 for the bleachers and $12 for the floor. So if you're like me and you just like to go see wrestling and don't really care about all the other stuff, $10 gets you in the door. $12 if you want to sit at ringside. It's a bang 'em up value. So, and if you want to come hang out with us all day, that's great. You know, if you buy the silver or the gold package, you know, if you want to come for the meal at noon and watch the Hall of Fame and then leave and come back, it's entirely up to you. You know, you can do that. So, but you want to get these ticket packages as quick as you can, and we will have more information this Saturday night at the show about where you can get it. Probably have some advance tickets on sale if I know the people at AIWF. So we'll have more information for you next week on this program, but the best way to find out about it first is come on out and see us this Saturday night at Veterans Park. So, yep, the extravaganza is coming August 21st. Deal with the Steel, the biggest show of the year. And check this out, man. We got music coming this year during the Fan Fest from 3 to 6 p.m. A Mount Airy based band called Blue Eve is going to be playing. And again, that is Saturday, August 21st. Gates open at 11. Festival and Hall of Fame and all the pre-show stuff start at noon, and the show itself goes off at 7:30. All right. So, Smiling Diamond Dave, I'm gonna pull up some wrestling footage. We're gonna take a look at what was going on. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. We're going to look at some action that took place back on May 29th, provided nobody's taking it off the drive. Let's refresh. I'm not sharing my screen because if you see my face when if I saw it was missing, I'd be just fit to be tied. But as we pull this up, Dave, you know, let's go back and we want to talk about Don a little bit. You know, this is his tournament and everything. You know, I met him first day I showed up to wrestling. You know, went to his house and met him, and ooh, I hope that didn't go off the air, man. I just got my ears blown into. You didn't hear that, did you?
Yeah, just a little bit. Not as loud as you did, but I heard.
Oh man, I didn't realize how good this headset was. Holy crap! Anyway, we're gonna be taking a look at a Caden Pierre match from that night on June May the 29th. I'm all discombobulated now, Dave. But anyway, you know, you were talking about the way things were in the 90s, wrestling in front of, you know, 5 people. As we take a look at Caden Pierre here in action, this is back from May 29th. And this will be in 2 parts. This is the raw video that the production staff sent us. So if you see the graphics on the left side of the screen, but Dave and I'll just kind of talk over this. But, you know, you talk about it, a lot of times people romanticize, especially reminisce to the young kids about, you know, oh, how great it was in the 90s and how things were different in the 90s. I remember the first time I went with you guys to Elkin, it was actually my second show. We had exactly 5 people show up.
Yep.
And that was it. I mean, and that was, you know, that was late. No, that was the first show in 97. Remember, Dynamite Doug had just beat Don for the title.
Yep.
The week before. And we show up and there's 5 people down there. And we had a TV presence in Surrey County at that time. We were on TV. We had an hour-long show on Thursday nights that aired in Mount Airy, and what was it? Mount Airy, it aired live, and then the rest of the county was a week delayed.
Yeah.
And so we had a TV presence there, which we had a TV presence at Martinsville at the time, but that didn't do you no good in Elkin, North Carolina, you know. But I remember also going to, what's that place outside of Winston? Pofftown.
Pofftown.
Oh man, and I had heard people say, "Oh yeah, Pofftown draws good." Dude, I have never seen Pofftown draw any more than 30 people, and I've probably done half a dozen shows there.
Yep.
So a lot of times for you young guys, you hear the old timers, reminiscing about the way great things were in the 90s. Well, yeah, we had a lot of fun in the 90s, but don't be fooled. We had trouble drawing crowds just like anybody else.
But the thing was, Matt, back in the 90s, the old days, I call them, whether a great friend of mine and Don's from Georgia, Terry West, known better as the unknown Bookie. He was the announcer for AWF in Georgia, where we was on TV and held the tag team championships multiple times. Matter of fact, Bookie was the one that gave me my full name, Smiling Diamond Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And Bookie always said, whether it's 5 people or 5,000, the show must go on.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we had 5 people sitting out there and 15 family members, or we had 500 people, we went out there and we gave 110% to the people that paid to see that show.
Yeah. And, I was joking about, the small crowds, but, all right, think about like 1997, January, Elkin, 5 people. By the time we came to Elkin in October, and we were going there once a month, we, in 1997, when we had the first Fright Night there, I remember the fire marshal coming in about a little over halfway through the show and telling us, like, guys, you can't let nobody else in here. You're already over the limit. I mean, we had to have, God, I want to say 250 or wrestlers BS when it comes to crowds, but I would say probably between 200 and 250 people in that place. And that's an armory gym. So not even a high school gym. So just think about this, the length and width of a basketball court, and that's it. And they was packed in there that night. I remember it being just terribly hot. It was October and it was cold outside, but it was like, 95 degrees in that building. And then another example, 2 months later in Bassett, Virginia, at Bassett High School, we almost put 500 in there.
They was hanging off the rafters.
Yeah. Now we didn't fill it up, because anybody that knows the Bassett High School gym knows it'll seat 300, 2,000 easy. Yeah. But on that one, we cordoned off half the building. And on one side, across from the camera, from the hard camera, you can see the old videos. That place, if it had any less than 500 people in there, I'd be surprised.
Well, you remember at Bassett before we moved to the gym, where we wrestled upstairs.
Oh yeah, at the community center. Yep.
Yeah, at the community center, and I've seen that place. That's what I thought you was referring to when you said Bassett. I've seen that place. Literally, people hanging off the rafters, people standing, no place to sit. I mean, people look at back in the Jim Crockett days, the NWA days and stuff, the wrestlers having to walk through, turn sideways and twist their way through the crowds.
Yeah.
That's the way it was at Bassett.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And Bassett, if you was hated, like me and Don, we kind of had it, because we had people that hated us and we had people that loved to hate us. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But when they're holding signs up, Don Carson for president, Smiling Diamond Dave for vice president, or TVA rules, you don't have to worry about walking through the crowd. I don't care how bad you are.
Yeah.
But
Well, you guys got off on a real bad foot with those fans at Bassett, because Rick Diesel was the host of the TV show, what we're continuing here, Ringside Wrestling on Cable 6 back then. And the very first show that we had at that community center, and that was the karate room upstairs. That's where they taught the karate classes. And
Yeah.
they wanted us to put the ring up there because the floor was concrete, and they want the ring post scuffing up the gym floor, which I completely understand. And so they put us upstairs, and it was a pain in the ass to haul those ring posts up those stairs. But you guys put Rick Diesel through a table that night.
Oh
And
yeah.
and buddy, you didn't have no problem getting any heat from that crowd after that. That was no problem. They saw their hero from TV get put through a table. And I remember people walking up to me when I went to work next week. Oh man, did Rick Diesel go through a table Saturday night? And I was like, yeah. They're like, are y'all going to show it on the wrestling show Saturday? And I was like, yeah, we'll show you the footage. And so, well, there's Caden Pierre showing us his really, really sparkly trunks that I had not seen before. And using those rhinestones to his advantage right there. Oh,
you ain't seen his new belt, have you?
Not in person. I saw a video where he debuted it, and they fired the poor guy that took the old belt away, which I thought was a little harsh. But
it is, it is. He is very proud of that new belt, and especially being the first one to hold it.
Oh yeah.
It is a very sharp, very nice looking belt.
Yeah, I hope he's got. Well, I'm sure he will. He takes that thing with him everywhere he goes. If he's on the card this Saturday night, I don't know if he is or not. But if he's there, I'm gonna ask him if he'll let me take a picture with the new title belt, because I'm still, call me a mark. I could care less. Yes, I am. I'm one of the biggest ones because I've been doing wrestling for 25 years. So you call me whatever. But I love when we get new title belts. I love to pose with them. And Kevin Phoenix called me a mark one night, and I was like, yeah, I've been around here 25 years. I'm in the Hall of Fame. I guess I am.
Yep.
You know, so.
Well, hey, if we don't mark out for the business, Matt, and stuff, and show that we still got interest, and that it still enthuses us, if that's a word,
Mm-hmm.
there ain't nobody else going to want to be involved and let it be enthusiasm to them if us old guys don't mark out for the business and build it up and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Okay, video froze on us, so I think it's all of that part one. So let me let's get over, see if I can find part two. Yeah, here we go.
While you pulling up our part two, I tell you, I think they ought to add. They got the gold package. I think they ought to add a solid gold package for $25.
And what would be different? What would be the difference between that package and what the gold package offers?
A picture with the commissioner, Smiling Diamond Dave.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, I've known you for a long time, and I'm not gonna lie to you. They hate you in Mount Airy. You ain't gonna sell none of those.
Well, but you'd be surprised that the people has bought my pictures back in the day just to rip them up when we walked to the ring.
Yeah. So Caden Pierre victorious there, and that's the old TV or cruiser. Help me out, Dave. Cruiserweight. I get the cruiserweight and the TV confused. Yeah, I get your cruiserweight and TV confused a lot. Jamal the Titan is the TV champion.
Yes.
But there's Caden Pierre victorious, and we'll just let the tape roll here and see what comes out to the ring next. Caden Pierre is a star. I don't care what anybody says about him. And I know Bobby Dalton has some, sometimes questions what team Caden is playing for. I can tell you this. Caden Pierre plays for his team, and he plays for the Pink Gang. And that's all, that's all you need to know. And yeah, he's flashy and he's prissy and he prances around and everything. But I guarantee you there's not anybody tougher pound for pound in North Carolina indie wrestling right now than Caden Pierre.
And I talk to Caden quite a bit when I make my rounds in the locker room, the dressing room and stuff. Caden Pierre, if people would just get to know him and realize the charisma that young man has,
mm-hmm.
The emotions and feelings, I don't know how other way to say it, that he has for this business, and the way he represents that title.
Well, he's been champion a long time now.
I don't think I don't want to downgrade none of the talent by no means, but with his enthusiasm, his charisma, and the emotions and the feelings he's got for this business, I don't think there's a better cruiserweight champion around right now than Caden Pierre.
So you hear that, Matt Classic? Maybe it's time to bring the AIWF World Cruiserweight Champion to Mount Airy and have him go butt heads with Caden Pierre. I'd like to see that happen.
Yes.
Let's have the battle of the Cruiserweight Champions, see who's top dog. Another thing, as we look at the ringside crowd here at Veterans Park, this is from back on May 29th. I am sorry, guys, I can't get you any more recent footage than that. I get what they give me and I put it up, but of course we don't want to give it away. You know, I'm not going to try to sell you wrestling tickets for a show on Saturday night and come back the following Thursday and show everything to you on video for nothing. I mean, come on, we're trying to make money here.
That's right.
But you know, I gotta say, we've got a great bunch of fans that come to see us in Mount Airy now. You know, we were one of the first things back live entertainment wise in Surrey County. Look, here comes trouble. Oh boy.
Lord, who is that beautiful person?
That is Commissioner Dave. I wonder what we're gonna do here. I ain't gonna be rude, take you off, but oh wow. Can you guys hear that at home? Can you hear it, Dave?
No.
Say you can't hear it? Okay, all right. I'm just checking all my settings here. Yeah, I can turn on the settings if you want to listen to this, or do you want to? We can try to find us another match.
Hey, brother, you're the man in control of the control board, not me.
All right, so I'm gonna produce this thing. Let's see what else we got to choose from here. Looks like we got a.
See, if a fan wants to know what I was saying,
you can just tell us.
Well, no, they should have showed up, and because I know what I said. They should have showed up, and they'd know what I said.
Well, look at this. Now, this is the next clip on the line after you came out. So I think this is where you introduced Sexy Kavina as the new head referee.
That clip that you was just showing, no, that wasn't what that was about. That was dealing with May 29th show. That's when the jailbird, the so-called co-commissioner, finally showed up, got out of the gutters and showed up to actually do a show and do a job that he ain't very good at. But
well, he's been kind of absentee, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm a little disappointed in Kevin Phoenix, but I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, he joined up with the Pink Gang and sleazed around and used them to help keep a title around his waist for months and months and months. And I will say this, though. I did look at put the sound on to some of these videos earlier, and I have to say that Kevin Stryker is one hell of a good ring announcer. You know, I got to give him credit where it's due, man. If I'm not there, if I get to choose, and I don't, because I don't book the AIWF or own it, but you know, Kevin Stryker is a great ring announcer.
Well, he's about as worthless as tits on a border hog, if you ask me. He's about as worthless as some of them other guys that's in there that tries to run roughshod and think they everything. So,
well, I have not.
Everybody's got their own opinions.
I have not seen Baby Oil Brown in quite a number of months, but there he is getting checked out by the referee. Sexy Kavina looks like he's having a hard time with those guys in the corner on the right side of the screen. But yeah, I mean, you young folks will hear us, you know, romanticize the 90s and everything, but it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And honestly, things are a lot better now. I mean, we kind of found a niche right here in Mount Airy and put on good shows and entertaining shows.
Yep.
we're not up and down the road through the mountains all the time anymore. I mean, I like working at the one place now. 20 years ago, I loved burning the roads up and going somewhere different every week. But man, I'm telling you, once or twice a month at the same place in front of a lot of the same people come to all the shows. At the age I'm at now, I am perfectly good with it. Y'all know that you guys can see me. My camera's on and I'm just kicked back watching, just like I'm watching wrestling on TV. And I am. I mean, shoot, we still got 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. And so we're just going to keep it here. I've already run through the announcements. I'm not going to do it again. If you want to see the announcements again, back up the tape. We're going to watch some wrestling here tonight since I got some videos, because I complained to the producers last week. Like, dude, y'all left me hanging. There's no videos there. So,
when you see Kevin Phoenix Saturday night, if I don't know if he's out and ain't got his ankle bracelet on, ask him how Bubba's doing.
Ask him how Bubba's doing. Who's
Bubba?
Bubba?
Ask him how Bubba's doing. Well, he spent that time in jail for selling them illegal copyrighted tapes and all that stuff. So I asked him in front of everybody the other night how Bubba was doing.
Oh, so that was his Sally's name, Bubba, huh?
Yeah, I asked him how Bubba was doing. And I just left it at that.
Without getting too far in there, you know who I learned that expression Sally from?
Who's that?
Ricky Morton.
Hey, you can learn a lot from Ricky Morton just sitting in the dressing room listening to him.
I've heard a lot of stuff. Yes, I have. I've learned a lot from Ricky. I'm always excited when Ricky comes and joins us, even if he doesn't wrestle, just to sit back there and listen to him talk.
His stories.
Oh God. All right. So I heard the story about, and I didn't hear it from Ricky, but I heard the story about Boogie and the coffee table. And because of decorum, I'm not going to go into details. But if any of you fans out there want to hear the story as it happened, just approach me Saturday night, sometime like during intermission or before after the show, and I'll tell you the story. But it's gruesome. So don't have any little kids standing with you, because I'm going to warn you once and then tell you. But anyway, all right, the infamous coffee table story, right?
Oh, it was that's when Jimmy and Boogie shared a room in the NWA together on the road.
Yeah. So anyways, I asked Ricky about that, and Ricky said it was true. And said that the legend was true, and that Robert Gibson actually got sick right there on the floor in Boogie's hotel room. So I thought it was just unbelievable. And so I go, it was a month or so later, we brought in Jimmy Valiant, worked at Fright Night, I think, or something at Elkin. One of the last times we did Fright Night in Elkin. And I walked up to him when he was not around anybody, and I was like, hey, man, Ricky Morton told me this story. And he looked at me before I even got started and went, Ricky Morton remembers that wrong. He was under that coffee table, not me. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So, and guys, I'm gonna cuss right here, because I want to bring this story home. So a few months later, Ricky comes back, works for us again. We're talking probably, it's 07, 08, 09 range, somewhere in that time period. And Ricky comes back and works for us again. And I said, hey man, you remember that story you told me about the glass table? And he was like, yeah. And he said, everybody knows that story. I said, well, Boogie was on the show last month for us, back in October for us, and he said you was under that table. And Ricky looked at me and he goes, bullshit. And he reacted to it so quick. You just knew he was telling the truth, man. The way he reacted, and so I was just stunned by that. Yeah, Ricky Morton is a barrel of monkeys. I think the world of that guy. I don't even know him that good, but anytime I'm around him, oh, look at that from the outside. Wait a minute. They hit Baby Oil Brown with a plush doll. What was Jody Osborne thinking? That ain't going to do any damage. Of course, I don't know with the bad men. They might have cut the back of it open and shoved a pair of knuckles in there or a lead
Oh
pipe.
yeah.
You know.
Anytime, and you know, if any of the younger guys go back and watch this or whatever, my advice to the younger guys: when you have legends like Ricky Morton, Jimmy Valiant, you know, on the show, my advice is keep your mouth shut, keep your ears open, and you'll learn a lot about the old days. You'll hear a lot of old stories, especially from Ricky Morton.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear a lot.
And don't be afraid to ask questions, because I know the older I get, the more I love reminiscing and telling stories about the good old days. And yeah, use that opportunity, guys, because let's face it, man, wrestling is a niche audience anymore. WWE don't draw like they used to. Definitely here in the Carolinas, there'll never be another Jim Crockett Promotions, although I think every independent promoter likes to think that they're the next Jim Crockett. But where guys are going out and putting between at minimum 2,500 3,000 in high school gyms, and then going to Greensboro on a Saturday or Sunday night, and Charlotte, filling up a building with between 10 and 15 and sometimes 17,000 people on a regular basis. If you can talk to anybody that worked in that era, you need to, man, because they know what you have to do to draw real money.
Yeah. And it's the lessons that you can learn from these older guys that those saying been there, done that, got the t-shirt to prove it, like Ricky Morton, like Jimmy Valiant. I had the opportunity a couple of times in my career to get to work the late great Chief Wahoo McDaniels.
Oh yeah.
And some of the younger guys, when they found that out, they said, well, that's an old man. That ain't saying a whole lot. And I just looked at him. I used a few Sunday school words. I won't use them on here. And I said, let me tell you something. He might be an old man, but I got that notch in my belt knowing I've got to wrestle that old man. I've got to get chopped. That old man taught me how to chop in 5 minutes in his dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
And, he told me, he said, I taught Ric Flair how to chop in 5 minutes. He said, I'm going to teach you. And keep in mind, I done took about 6 of his chops. My chest was bleeding and everything else. I said, Chief, I can't handle nothing. He said, I ain't going to touch you. And he showed me how to do it and the correct way. But the lessons that you can learn from these guys, if you just listen and not think that you're above them, you'd be surprised how much you can better yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And to say this, and I want to say this too, because I don't want it to sound like we're being always critical of young people. I have to say, when I first joined up with the AIWF, that crew in the late 90s will always be my favorite, because they were my first, and that was a real talented bunch. But the crew that we have in the Mid-Atlantic now is just absolutely fantastic. And I think since all the years that have passed, and I don't mean one particular wrestler or another, but top to bottom of the card is just stacked with talent like it's never been. And it's fantastic. And I associate the beginning of this era with when TR Superstar came on the scene.
Yeah.
So from basically 2014 till now, I would call the new age or the modern era of AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. And it all seemed to snowball when TR Superstar came along, because I was on a hiatus, and I had told the boss, I said, I'm gonna go. I gotta go get myself married, and then I'll come back. And I did. And one of the things that brought me back was they had the weekly Mid-Atlantic YouTube show. And I got to watching TR Superstar on there and just was like, oh my God, man, I got to go back to wrestling just to see this guy wrestle in person once, you know. And
well, I tell you what, TR is one of a kind, because until we sat down and started talking, I didn't realize how far back me and him and Don went. And this was at a benefit show for Don at the Mount Airy National Guard Armory. And we went back, way back, and didn't even realize, because we didn't know each other back then that good. You know, we just knowed by presence, you know.
mm-hmm.
And but TR, he's been around. He was brought up old school like we was. He's been a lot more places than I've been in my career. With a lot more people. He traveled with the greats. You know, he started out like everybody should, setting the ring up, tearing the ring down, doing setting the chairs out, doing this, doing that, then training. And you know, TR is one of the best, in my opinion. I've even went to Rick Diesel, and I've told Rick Diesel, you need about 14 other guys just like TR.
Yeah.
Because once he hits that curtain, he don't stop running that mouth until he hits the curtain coming back through it. Mm-hmm. And you know, Matt, you know as well as I do, that's what it takes. This crowd, these fans, they want to be involved. And you can't just go out there and say, sit down and shut up and leave it at that.
Nope. And TR, you know, unfortunately for those of you guys don't know, sustained an injury and had to retire early. You know, and he was not ready to give up wrestling, not by a long stretch. No. You know, I always say, I told him, I was like, man, you know, if you ever decide to come back, man, we'll find you a spot, man, managing, doing commentary or whatever, you know, I'm sure, you know, because he's so well thought of by everybody. But as we get down to it, I'll let the rest of this match play, and then we're going to go. So because it's right at 8 o'clock now, and I don't want to make this thing be much longer than an hour, but don't forget, fans, this Saturday night, I need to remember my camera's on. This Saturday night, Mount Airy, North Carolina. It's the big Dangerous Don Carson, the finals of the Carson Memorial Tag Team Tournament. Certainly hope you decide to join us there. And hey, if you're down in the eastern part of the state, don't forget, man, Shockwave has got their big show going on this Saturday night out at the Craven County JC's Fairgrounds. So you definitely want to be a part of that. Great venue down there. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, Sexy Cavina fast counted him. And they said the dog got the pin. You hired that guy.
I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he made a real good call right there. I'll tell you what, last time that something like that happened, I cussed Chris Nelson up one side and down the other for wrestling a stuffed horse named Banjo. So, yeah.
But before we go, you said that before we go, let me say something real short.
Okay.
Back in the day, you've heard probably me and Don and people from Tennessee mention wrestling in the old Johnson City Recreation Building where ICW went.
Yeah. I've actually been to that building. That's the one right near that bridge and that TV station, right?
No, that's one next to that. That was the one at the swimming pool.
Oh, okay.
The community, well, Johnson City swimming pool. But one of the guys that trained me, he actually, they dared him to do it. He actually wrestled a broom one night and lost. But you know what? It was one hell of a sweeping match.
Oh God. Oh, please, Peacock, upload some more episodes of Mid-South Wrestling before it's too late. Oh, they've uploaded 2, but and it's coming on slowly, but they're getting a lot of the old school stuff back up there again. So, but anyway, come on, Peacock, you can do it. All right, guys, that's going to be all for this week. Look, wherever you're at around the country, around the world, wherever you're seeing the show, don't forget, whether they're in the AIWF or not, and they should be, get out and support your local indie wrestling. It's very important, man, to keep this thing going, man, and give these young guys a chance to maybe make it to the big TV promotions one day. You know, I know probably everybody's saying WWE is going to be sold soon, so I don't know how much longer that's going to last. But, you know, it looks like the people that put on the Dynamite, AEW, looks like they've got plenty of money and plenty of fans, and looks like they're willing to. And they got a great TV deal with the Turner Networks, which I thought would never happen again. They would ever have wrestling on TBS or TNT again. And they're back. So, you know, our old buddy Adam Page that used to work with us way back in the day, he's like a main eventer there now. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I think, you know, he's getting ready to go up, I think. If I'm not mistaken, against the AEW champion. I think it's building towards a match between him and Kenny Omega.
Yep, and Kenny Omega got all that experience. I know Jim Cornette hates him. I think he is funny looking too. He does look like Groucho Marx, not Harpo Marx. Yeah. I give Cornette credit on that, but I saw him wrestle in Japan against Jericho before AEW ever got started, man, and they had just a bang 'em up match. So what he's doing here, and I really think something that hurt Kenny Omega was he was involved in that exploding ring match that didn't explode, right?
Oh yeah, it was pitiful. I watched it. It was pitiful. I mean, just absolutely pitiful.
Well, you know, it's funny, the night before that show, I told my wife, I said, you know, I think I might get that AEW show, man, with that exploding ring. I want to see what's happening. She's like, that's fine, go ahead. And as it got closer to bedtime, I looked at her and I was like, you know, my gut is telling me that I'm gonna have buyer's remorse if I get this pay-per-view. And she said, well, then don't do it. Trust your gut. You've been around the wrestling business long enough. And I'm glad I didn't, because when I saw that footage the next morning, I was just like, oh my God, you know, a mess. What a mess.
It was. That's what happens when you take somebody's word from not knowing their experience at setting up the exploding ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't know how they were going to get away with that anyway. I mean, what if the thing blew into smithereens and a piece of it went out into the crowd and hurt somebody? I mean, I know that. Was there even anybody there? Didn't they have limited seating at that?
No, I think that's when it was still everybody was, you know. They might have had the workers and the trainees and stuff on each side of the ring behind plexiglass, but I believe that was. But in my opinion, everybody needs to leave the exploding ring match over in Japan to where they know what they're doing. They know how to do it, and you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and you don't kill your ringside fans who pay a lot of money to be in those seats.
You're exactly right.
Oh, goodness. All right, folks. Well, we've gone over time, but we hope to see you at wrestling this weekend, either in Mount Airy or down in New Bern or anywhere around the AIWF family of events or any indie wrestling show. We hope to see you this weekend. And so for Smiling Diamond Dave, this is Mad Matt Carter, and that's all for this week, wrestling fans. And until next time, so long for now.